Right. And we are live with my friend Wendy Moten. Wendy, I'm so happy to see you again.
I'm so happy to see you too. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, please. I couldn't wait to see you again. We have missed you guys. I can't even tell. It's like
Ah,
I don't know how this happened. We met and it was like love at first sight, like
instant.
instant.
I love that we missed as soon as you guys left. We were like, "What are we gonna do now? Who do we love? Where do you left a hole."
I'm telling you, I know. So did you guys. And it's been really weird because when we were in Nashville, we were like with you guys every day. It was fabulous. It was great. It was the
We felt the
best.
same way.
It was
I
the
told you
best.
David hates people, but he loved y'all. He was like, I said, "Oh my God."
We,
I
you know,
felt the
we
same
don't
way.
we don't celebrate. We don't socialize with other couples. Like rarely, very rarely do we go out to dinner with anybody or hang out. But you guys, we could have stayed with you every minute of every day. It
We
was
miss you. We still miss you.
we miss you too. All right, so listen, there's as I was doing a little research for the show, I'm like, there's so much I don't know. But then there were really cool things that I found out. Like, tell us about your dad.
Well, my dad was a pastor. You heard that story. You grew up in the
And my
South.
father was a Hebrew teacher.
Oh, nice.
So we
We're
come
preacher's
from
kids.
we come from that. So now were you a good pastor's daughter?
Oh yeah, because I was child number 5 out of 6. So by the time they got to me, they let a lot of stuff go. They were much more relaxed. And then child number 6 was 3 years after me. So I was surprised. First 4 kids, 2 years apart. 9 years later, I was born. And then 3 years after me, my kid number 6, my sister Selena, and then my mom stopped going to bed. I used to wonder why would she go to sleep in the den, like falling asleep, not now, instead of being in that big bedroom of hers. I think she was afraid to get pregnant. I do. As an adult, I figured it out.
Well, she had damn good reason.
6,
Oh,
she was like,
and
I'm done.
so now also no, I know you have a bunch of sisters. All
Mhm.
sisters?
4 sisters, 1 brother.
Where does the brother fit in there?
He was number 2.
Okay, and I know you're close with your sisters. Are you close with your
Yes.
brother?
Oh yeah. He passed away 2 years ago, but
Oh,
we
I'm
were
so
all
sorry.
very close. Thank you. He lived a good long life. And we were all pretty close. Yeah.
And so, Memphis girl, why? Okay, so you're growing up in Memphis, you're a little girl, you're a pastor's daughter, and you're going to church like 4 or 5 times a
Three
week,
or four
huh?
times a week. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
After school, you do that? What do you?
Well, when you get home, you may have dinner,
Yeah.
and then it's time to drive because our church was all the way on the other side of town, 40 minutes. So, my friends used to make fun of us, be like, do y'all do anything else other than going to church?
Wow.
But my dad had 5 daughters. He had to know where we were.
Uh, wow. Wow. And so, how long you stay in a church, and how are you doing homework? Are you doing your
Well,
homework?
you do homework in between dinner time and school, getting home from school. And then you do your homework, and then you have dinner, and then you go to church. Yeah,
Wow.
they had it
That's
all
that's
in
a
there.
that's a long and full day. Are you tired in school the next day?
Oh, no, they make sure that, you just got used to it. It was just that muscle that just was just there from childhood.
And
And
so,
then
are you stepping out in front right from the beginning? Like,
8 years old.
okay. So, how do they know? Like, do all your sisters have the voice? Like,
Out of 5 girls, 4 of us could sing, one could not.
poor
And
thing.
but everybody was in the choir. So in being a part of the choir,
Mm.
you can hear who's singing, who's not. It was a big choir, 100 people. So you can kind of tell
Wow.
who's got a thing, who doesn't. I didn't realize that I had a gift. I was just forced to lead singing.
W- Because your father heard, because the choir
My
director heard
father, my
it?
sisters, my brothers, they all knew I had a gift. And I guess it started sooner. I just was not aware.
So
All
you're
I
singing at home, you're singing in the house, you're walking around singing, they
I
hear
think
you.
mostly at church because I never sang
Oh,
at home. I still don't. I don't
wow.
sing in the shower, sing at home. I only sing on stage.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
I was shy. I was really shy. And, me getting out in front of an audience, you feel safe at church because if you failed, it was okay. They were going to pick you back up.
Right.
But I just didn't like the fact that everybody was looking at me.
Okay, so do you remember the first time you came front and center and had a solo?
8 years old.
And do you remember what you sang?
No,
No.
I should. I should have thought about that before doing the show because that's something that you don't really forget, but it was so much going on. I don't know which song was I don't
So
know.
you didn't have like a song that was like your solo that you like came out and that was the song you did.
I feel, yeah, because you would have one, one or two per year. And as the year grow, they would learn new songs and then they'll give you another song to sing. But my sisters also led songs, and so it was just that thing that you just learn so many songs, you don't know which one came first.
And so when you're like soloing and then you're done, are people coming up to you after church and going, "Wow, what a voice
Oh
on you."
yeah.
You're
You can
getting
tell
all
on their
that.
faces because they're standing up, they're clapping, they're smiling at you. You got that, reinforcement, that support. Even if you forgot something, they're just like, "You're all right, baby," and they're clapping and standing. So
And you're and do you right away take to loving people clapping and standing?
no, because it's still nerve-wracking.
Uh-huh.
And in the moment, what if they're disappointed? What if you fail? What if, but you learned in that process how to forget stuff and then just keep moving, that people forgive you and they really want you to do well, so they're in your corner. So failing growing up was a lot less because you got rid of it as a child, when people were encouraging you when you would mess up.
And was there, so you were shy. Did you have stage fright? Did you get nervous before you sang your solo?
Well, I still get nervous. I always get just a little thing in my belly. But Vince Gill told me, if you're not a little nervous, then something may be wrong. Or better yet, he told me, if you're a little nervous, that means it matters to you.
Yeah. I like that.
Because I was terrified when I played the Opry, and I couldn't believe how scared I was. And it's like, well, that's because it means something to you.
And so at what point when you're hitting the stage like the Grand Ole Opry and you're nervous, at
Mhm.
what point do you
Let it
get
go.
into your body and get present?
When I walk on the stage.
As soon as you walk on stage.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow. I can't. So when was the first time you hit the stage at the Grand Ole Opry? How long ago?
Was April 19th, 2020.
Not that long ago. Okay. Wait a minute. So it was during the pandemic?
Oh, let me turn it around. It was April 20th, 2019.
2019. So
April
before
20th,
okay. So before the
2019.
pandemic.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. But I knew I said I was never going to forget. April 20th, 2019.
And how, okay, we're going to go back further,
Yeah.
but tell us because we're here. How did it happen? How did you get that invitation? What was that about?
Well, in 2016, Vince Gill called me out the blue. He used to have a singer that performed with him for 14 years. Her name was Dawn Sears, amazing country singer. She was also a member of the Time Jumpers. And so Vince Gill was in the Time Jumpers. So they would sing together in the Time Jumpers, and she toured with him
Uh-huh.
about 14 years.
And in that time, were you with Julio still?
I was still with Julio.
Yeah. Okay.
And well, actually, I have been toured with Tim and Faith. So no, I was in 2016, I was not with Julio Iglesias.
Okay.
But I had just finished touring with Martina McBride. I toured with Martina 2014 to 2016. Vincent Gill called 2 days later and was like, "Hey, buddy, it's Vinny Gill." And I'm like, "Who is Vinny Gill? Is this like
Oh,
a
you
different?"
didn't even know each other.
No, we had never met. So when he said Vinny Gill, I was like, like Vince Gill? Like, and he was like, "Yes, like, I want to talk to you about going out on the road with me." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "Well, I had just flown to LA to do a show in LA for myself." I said that the plane had just landed. We were still taxiing. And I was like, well, I just got to LA and I'll be back in 3 days. He was like, okay, we'll meet me for breakfast. I said, okay. So it was like
Now,
that.
how did he know you?
Oh, well, that's the question I asked him when I met him for breakfast. I wanted to know, how did you find me? Because we do not have the same friends. And he said, well, he said, and his singer, Don Sears, had passed away like for 2 years. And he was on a mission to find somebody else. He went through some of his daughters, other singers. And then somebody said, hey, do you know this girl, Wendy Moten? And he said, no. So he said he went down the rabbit hole and went on the internet and started just looking up everything. And then he said he asked around town. And he said no one had anything bad to say about you.
Oh.
I know. I say, well, that's on purpose. That's that is on purpose. So he said that's how. And once he asked around, and everybody was just like, no, she's good or consistent or dependable, whatever. Then he gave me a call, and I was like, man, I've been unemployed for 3 hours. Oh no, for 3 days because I actually one night because I had just left the Martina McBride, suggesting that she keep the girls a little longer. She said no. Got on my flight, flew to LA. There was a call from Vince Gill.
That's crazy. But that's kind of
Amazing.
the way your career's been. I mean,
It has. It's
you've
just been like,
working, job, job, job,
yes, yes.
as it has been for your what do we call David's like your
That's
husband, your
my
partner?
partner, best friend, 31 years together. I've been engaged
Unbelievable.
30 years. I've been engaged.
Yeah.
I have. I've been engaged for 30 years.
Wait, so he proposed to you?
Oh yeah, he did 15, 30 years ago.
He and so 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 you got okay, so tell me the secret of this.
Okay.
So it's working, so obviously everything you're doing is right,
Well,
but you just decided there's no reason or what?
no, I was gonna jump in. He did the whole thing. He called my dad, and before
Oh,
he asked me, he wanted to make sure he had my dad's permission.
oh.
I know, right? Then he asked me, and then Julio Iglesias shook me. I was like, walked in with my ring, and he was like, um, I was like, I'm engaged. David asked me to marry him. And then he was like, don't get married. It'll fuck your life. It'll fuck your life. Don't get married. And he was shaking me. His face is like, right. Don't get married. It'll fuck your life. I was like, but I love him. He was like, don't do it. Yet what I didn't understand was that he didn't like talking to anybody's husband because when you travel with him, are,
Uh,
really with him. You're on the plane, you're on the home with his families, you're with him all the time, and he didn't want to have to deal with anybody's husband. Like, well, why are you at Julio's house? What are you doing? Nothing. But he wanted to share, he shared that life with me. He shared the plane, shared all the homes and that whole lifestyle for 15 years. I had to sing in 4 different languages with him, but he taught me how to be a great communicator through songs.
and now how did Julio find you?
Fate.
Okay, I want to hear about that.
Fate.
What does
And
that mean?
that means in 1990, before I got a record deal, I was a part of a band called Charisma, and we would play Marriott hotels. That's when hotels could have bands, and you stay there for 3 weeks.
Right.
Then so you stand at the hotel, you saving money. So I would, you stay at the hotel for 3 weeks, you go to another city, stay at a Marriott hotel. Well, this gentleman named Dan Alabate was the production manager for Julio Iglesias. And then he came into the bar. I guess he heard us singing, and he was like, hey, I love your voice. If Julio ever needs a girl, will call you. I said, okay, no problem. No problem. Well, I got a record deal in 1993. He calls in 97. I've had like 2 records on EMI released by then, but EMI is going through a shakeup. I'm trying to get out of my contract, and I can't use my name because they own it. So I said, so the guy calls my parents' phone number, and he's like, so that's 7 years later. He kept the number. And I know that's fate. And he was like, hi, I know you have your own record deal right now because he had another artist that was on EMI, John Cicada. And he was like, I guess he heard about the turmoil and that we're in this litigation. And he was like, hey, Julio Iglesias is looking for a new duet partner. Would you be interested? So I said, sure, I'll stay for a year because I don't know how long this legal stuff's gonna last. And I can learn something. I'm learning something from one of the greatest singers in music history. So I said, sure. They said, okay, we're gonna send 2 songs. These are the duets. And if he likes you, you will stay for the show. This is in Atlantic City. If he doesn't like you, you'll be going home the next day. I said, no problem. My God. So I do one of the duets, All of You. Um, that is the duet he did with Diana Ross. And he did one with Dolly Parton. So they flew me to Atlantic City. Big car picks you up. I'm like, this is grand. Okay. And this is like 1997. Atlantic City. You're muted.
Shit, I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
was, but you'd already done a big tour because you'd
Oh
done one
yeah, I
with
had
Michael
done
Bolton
tours.
and
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
had record deals out, and this thing that he said to me was, "I know you have your own career right now. Julio's looking for a new duet partner. Are you? Can you do it?" And I thought, well, I'll do it because legal stuff going on, and I don't know how long that's going to be tied up.
Right.
So, and I'll go and I'll stay a year and I'll learn something. I'll learn how to be a great singer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said yes. So they, sent the car to pick me up in Atlantic City and went to the sound check. And so Julio, he doesn't even say hello. The MD, Rafa Ferro, says hello. Hello, okay. And then I go and I start singing the song. They were like, okay, let's sing the duet. He doesn't come in, but he wants me to sing my part. He's standing behind me, so I
Wow.
can't see him.
Are you scared?
A little bit. I'm expecting a little face, something.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome. Thank you. You can come. And he didn't say anything. He was just standing behind me. And then they started the song, and then I just came in on my parts. And he didn't sing. I said, "Oh my
That's
God,
so weird.
isn't it?" So then he said, "Sing it again." The whole song. He's behind me. Sing it again. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, am I gonna get fired for the first time in my life?" I know that I'm singing the parts right. And then he says, after I sang the whole song, my parts, he said, "Sing it again."
Wait, how do you sing your parts without his
You
parts?
have to hear his parts in your head.
So you just stop when
Yeah, I
his
just
part.
stop and wait, and then I come in,
Wow.
how I sing my parts. And then after the third time, he leaves the stage, just walks off. And I watch him. He didn't say goodbye, hello. I'm in shock because I'm not getting any feedback. I had to sing the song 3 times by myself, and
Wow.
I'm watching him like just leave. And so Rafa, the musical director, was like, "Congratulations," because he's, Spanish. "Congratulations." I said, "Huh?" He's like, "Oh, you got the gig."
So like he just gave him a nod or something, like, and that was it?
Obviously, because he didn't mean nothing. He just walked off the stage, and I watched him walk off like, did I suck? Like, what? And so Rafa said, "Congratulations," and so I was like, "Oh my God!" So I got the gig. So all I had to do that night was just sing the 2 duets. That's it, and I did. And you know, the rest is history. I stayed 15 years.
So now how long did it take for him to start communicating with you?
Well, it for the first year it was basically the duets because he hadn't found other background singers yet. And after the first year, it's just duets. And then the second year, he wanted to incorporate background singers again. And so I sang backgrounds and sang the duets.
And is
And
he talking to you though in
he's
between
like
songs?
talking and warming up because he's the real deal, so he don't know if I'm lucky. That's what he told Rafa. He told me years later at dinner, because we have dinner a lot. The first time I thought you were lucky. The second time I thought you were lucky. The third time I knew you were a great singer.
Oh,
So after being around me and knowing my personality and being consistent, then he started to just become closer and closer. And you know those, they want the best around them. They don't want to have to tell you how to do everything. They need you to figure it out. So I was able to figure things out. I even had to come up with a way because he recorded in 5 languages. I only speak
How
one.
the hell did you have to break it all down?
Oh yeah, I had to come up with a way because at sound check, he would come up with the song in French. Oh, I'm gonna do blah 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 tonight. I don't even know what blah 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 is, so I came up with a way I can get through the show phonetically.
Could you look it up? How would you do that so fast?
Okay, so I understood his method of singing and how he likes his backgrounds. I know where his notes are going. I know his, because it's his DNA. Every artist has one. You know the type of chord progressions that they use. You know where the notes are going. So
Uh-huh.
once I knew his rhythm of how he likes to sing, the chords he likes to use, I came up with banana, banana, banana. So my lips are moving. People can hear tone, but they don't hear the right words. But I'm able to fake it enough. And then that night, I would talk to the young ladies because he always had his own United Nations. So there was at least 8 languages going on in the whole entourage. So
Wow.
I would find out from somebody what was I supposed to be saying? Like, what are the words? Then write it down phonetically. Then the next time I could do it. But sound check, we do a 3 hour sound check
Wow.
and a 3.5 hour show
Wow.
every day.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like nothing. Like 3 hour
Wow.
sound check, 3 hour, 3.5 hour, uh, three and a
What
half
an
hour.
instrument he has to have to do
Oh, yeah,
that.
totally. But he taught me that, the songs before I met him, I would just sing songs. I would sing whatever the record company suggested, and it had no connection to the music. I had a gift that carried me through,
Right.
but half of it's missing because you have no connection. So, or spiritual or purpose or passion.
But how is that so, Wendy, when you came
Because I
from
had a
the
gift.
church? But you came from the church. And so when you were singing those songs, those spiritual songs, weren't you spiritually connected to them?
No,
Or
'cause I'm a
no.
pop singer. I am the Tremaine Hawkins of gospel. I am the Yolanda Adams. It's got pop vibes. It's the Whitney Houston. It's pop
Right.
R&B. It's not blues or the stuff that's very like animated. I'm a pop version of that. So, it was just a beautiful pop song for me. And
Wow.
stayed as such. And so I was the Tremaine Hawkins of the church. Tremaine Hawkins was very,
Okay, so let's go back to so you're this little girl and you're singing in church, you're singing with your sisters in the choir.
yeah,
And when you're a little kid, what's the dream?
it's not to be a singer.
Well, that's so wild. Well, what is the dream?
The dream, I always wanted to be a lawyer. And then as I got older, a corporate attorney who won all of her cases because I'm very analytical. And I wanted to be this person that was the smartest one in the room, who's analytical, that always wins the case and can figure it out.
Well, I can't wait for you to meet my daughter. That's she
Is that what
left
she
being an
is?
actress and she's in her last year of law school and she's got a
Yes.
gig as a corporate lawyer.
Yes, because it helps you with psychology and all kinds of things.
Hmm.
You can look through walls.
Wow. Okay, so you
You
wanted
know,
to be
and
a lawyer, so obviously you must have been a
yeah,
good student.
I was
Yeah?
a great student, but I never got to pre-law or anything like that because I got a record deal the second year of college.
Okay, so you're singing and are you in bands when you're in high school and stuff?
No, not at all. I didn't I was in my high school was a performing arts high school. So
Up.
classical music is what I sang. All classical music, sight reading, everything. And when they have these high school like state competitions of sight reading and being number one in the state, I was number one in the state, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th grade.
Well, so you know where you're going.
No,
You
no, no. I was just doing things because they were available to me and somebody believed in me. And so my parents made sure that I had ways to get to all I knew was rehearsals. That's all I ever knew. But it wasn't like a dream, it was like, well, I might as well because I don't have any other ideas of what else to do.
So
So,
where were you planning to go to college, or where did you go to college?
well, what happened was my performing arts school, Berkeley would come and get students from this school because we were
Oh,
like getting awards from all over the world. And my teacher was really hard.
wow.
I had
And this
headaches
is in
every day.
Memphis.
In Memphis, it was called Overton High Performing Arts School, Kappa, Creative and Performing Arts High School. And it was a fame type school. So there was
So you
theater.
had to audition to get in there, I assume?
Well, I was usually you do, but the main conductor, Dr. Lula Hedgeman, she came to my junior high school. That's where she was grabbing students too, ninth grade. And so she heard me, you have to sight read, you have to sing classical music. And she's like, I want her. So that's how I got in there.
Wow.
But I knew how to sight read and I knew, I had that
So how'd you learn all of that stuff?
the sight reading.
Yeah.
Well, my junior high school was also a performing arts school. So you're
Okay.
taught how to sight read, you're taught how to blend, you're taught how to listen, you're taught how to, use your instrument.
Is harmony something that came naturally to you?
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
started at church.
Hmm.
That started being in the choir at a young age and knowing what a soprano and an alto and a tenor and a bass and like, oh, okay. And so all that came early in my life. So
Hmm.
I had that foundation. But what Dr. Hedgeman was able to do is break down because wherever you came from to get in that program, you were probably number one. Okay.
Right.
So she had to
Right.
she had to break all that down so she could train you again. And I
Hmm.
remember like, I don't know, 2 weeks into Overton High School, I had been sight reading, but not on the level that they were doing. And so
Hmm.
she had me stand up and sight read this really difficult magical type piece. And it was just black ink. I didn't know what I was looking at. And then she was like, sit down. So she had to break me. Sit down. If I was able to
Wow.
sight read it, okay, but I was popular in Memphis and all, so she had to break you down, get you, out of that false thing and build you back up. And
And you
so,
trusted her, and that was
oh yeah,
okay.
oh
Hmm.
totally. No, she used to have a big, huge sign behind her called Think, and she used to, mind over matter and all. She was brilliant. I mean, she went to college when she was 16.
Wow.
She was a virtuoso on the piano and she was taught a
Do you
lot of
play
life
it? Do you play an
lessons.
instrument?
Not at all, nothing. My parents paid for music lessons. I feel so bad for them. Everybody had to take piano lessons.
I wouldn't feel too bad for your parents. I think they probably are pretty proud of what happened with
They
you.
were, they were, and they completely trusted me. I mean,
Okay, so that was my next question.
yeah,
How did your father take to you singing this, like the devil's music and stuff? Did he see it that way?
no, he did see it that way. He was not happy about it. My first band, I was 21,
Wow.
and it
That's
was,
pretty late,
I
actually.
know it's
Yeah.
very late.
Yeah, yeah.
And, um, you know, it was the number one band in Memphis. And
Wow.
it was like great pay. You were making,
What kind of band? Is it R&B? What are you doing?
it was top 40,
Oh, okay.
10 pieces
Wow.
in a restaurant. People bring their families. On one side, it was a hot up to do, restaurant, seafood restaurant. On the other
Mhm.
side, big stage, people could dance, bar, big.
Right, right.
So, I, I'm thinking it's okay. It's not like a juke joint or some stripper club or something. So he was like, no. I was like, because I went to the audition, they said you got the gig. So I was like, Dad, I want to, sing in this place. It's called Captain Bilbo's. It's a nice place. People bring their families. And he was like, no, my daughter's not going to sing for the devil.
Oh God, I just made that up. I didn't know he
No,
actually
it's
said it.
true
Holy.
story.
So
And
what'd you do?
so my sisters advocated for me, Debbie, Mona, Selena, which you're probably watching right now. I
I
mean,
see Deborah. Yeah.
Yvonne, yeah, Deborah, Mona, and Selena, and Yvonne. They advocated for me. And I remember walking through the house and my dad, quoting scriptures, and I'm quoting scriptures too, crying. And and that was the first time I ever tried to defend myself or whatever, like have that kind of dialogue because I never had to.
Right.
I obey the
You were a good
rules.
girl.
I was a good girl. I'm gonna obey the rules. Okay, and then that's just it. It's the rules, okay. But this is the first time I'm like challenging my father, and but my sisters were there and they advocated for me, and I think they may have had some conversations when I wasn't around, like, Dad, she's really got something special. It's a nice place, and and it took years. It took years, and I was there 3 years.
Okay, so you were there 3 years, and then what happens?
And then he sees that I haven't turned into a alcoholic or a drug addict. But I
Thank
realized
goodness.
that when David came into my life, he asked my dad his story, his life story, stuff he never shared with us. That I'm going to
You're
tell you on
kidding.
your show. Yeah, shooting the shit with you. I'm going to tell you what my dad told David
Yeah.
that he never shared with his daughters was when he was a kid, 10 years old, 8 years old. He was on Bill Street and he would make little monies from picking up the tips from strippers in the strip club. Hello? What? He was in the strip clubs at an 8, 9, 10-year old, and
Wow.
they would give him a little bit of their tips because he would pick the tips up from the strippers on Bill Street. He was
Wow.
never going to share that story with us. No.
And what did his father think of that?
His dad, he didn't know, and he hated his dad. So
Now, was his father a preacher?
no, not at all. His father was somebody that, and my dad only talks about love and compassion. He was a unique individual. But I think from his father, so he not loving his father not loving his mother, whatever it was. My dad never talked about hating anybody, but he was like, I wanted to kill my father. And my dad never talks about hurting anyone. So
Wow.
he wanted to be the complete opposite of whoever he was, because he wasn't alive when we were born. And so he was an amazing father and husband. Amazing father and husband. I never seen him disrespect my mom. They were married 63 years before she passed. And
Oh.
he all he talked about is how much he loved her.
So you had pretty much an ideal childhood, kind of.
I did. And I didn't realize how great it was till college. And when I went to college, and then I met people who, oh, I don't talk to my parents, or, I hate my sister, or stories I can't even relate to that you knew kind of existed, but not really, maybe on TV.
Right.
Actually meeting real people who have trauma in their lives.
And
And
you really didn't have trauma in
no,
your life.
no.
What? I don't know anybody like you.
Are you serious?
I don't. I don't. This is so fabulous that you had this storybook childhood. I
I
love
did.
this.
And I'm sure maybe it was hard for my parents. I don't know, because they had 6 kids, and I didn't realize that they didn't make a lot of money to I went to college and they filled out that paperwork for the Pell Grant, and I was like, "Oh my God, we're broke." I didn't you don't know. And I was an expensive kid. I was always traveling. I was always involved in some program. I mean, traveling out of the country. And they never said we can't afford it.
Wow.
So my mom, when I got in like 30s, I was like, how did y'all do it? She was like, we just went without. But the family, like their siblings, people would contribute to make sure
Did
that we
did you have an appreciation? I mean, you didn't know, but did you understand the value of money? Did because it sounds like your parents made everything easy for you.
they made it easy, but I was a kid that didn't require much.
You weren't a gimme,
No,
gimme,
I wasn't
gimme.
even into a lot of stuff. I mean, they bought like toys. I don't remember playing with toys. I have this photo, and I'll send it to you, of my sister Mona in this
Mona's here. Sister Mona is
Mona. Hey
watching.
Mona. I have this picture of Mona in our living room with this life-size doll that's my size, my height. I'm 5 years old. And I
Oh,
was
I
like,
had one of those.
did you?
I had a Patty Play Pal.
I don't know
What?
what this
It was
doll
a
looked
Patty
like
Play
me.
Pal. It was full-size doll.
It's full
My
size.
brother wrote in her ears with a pen.
Well, I'm gonna send you that photo because I remember that being the last doll I ever talked to. Because I don't remember even playing with dolls. And I got a and I she's I'm like, she's life size. I'm like, I'm good. No. I don't remember playing with toys. And we
What?
had plenty.
Really? Well, what
Yeah,
do
I
you
was
remember doing when you were a little kid?
rehearsals.
Oh.
That's all I really remember. If you're doing a play at the church or you're at choir rehearsal.
So now did you do that? Did you do like musicals and
Oh
stuff?
yeah, we I did that stuff. The church was a big church and they always had a lot of activities
So
for
like tell
for
me some musicals you did when you were a
well, it's not
kid.
like proper musicals. It's like
Oh, okay.
people musicals that people would write, from church. Oh, they're playing our song. Oh yeah, they're playing our song. Yeah, they're playing our song.
Sure.
I did that at Theater Memphis. I did the Wiz at the
What?
Theater Memphis, but I was 18
Uh-huh.
years old. So I did some theater, which was great.
Did you like it?
I liked it. I didn't love it because
Oh.
I don't know how to get into character and be somebody else. I can do it
Ah.
singing, and I've learned it later on how to get rid
Create
of
a character.
yourself.
Hmm.
Yes. And so acting, I was didn't understand how to get myself out of the way. I finally learned how to do that in music
Hmm.
because I recognize that I want to be a storyteller with songs and
Right.
just like get all the things out of your head out of the way. And it's like not even me when I'm singing. I didn't know how to do that in acting. But I'm sure if that was something that I was driven to do, I would have
Of
figured
course.
out how to do it.
Okay, so you singing in this band for 3 years in Memphis, and how on earth do you transition to become a professional? I mean, that's a professional musician. You're making money,
Yeah.
right? You're,
Yeah.
but how do you get to the next level? I think Michael Bolton's like the first big one, right?
Oh
No. What?
no, no, no. After um MVP in Memphis, the band,
Hmm.
then I went out on the road with Charisma and started playing Marriott Hotel.
Okay.
Okay, then and so that was from
Now,
so
do you have to share the spotlight with another singer, or is it
oh
all
yeah, no,
you?
that's great. It's just
Yeah.
everybody's it's like two or
Okay.
three singers. So it's
Right.
easy. You do some choreographies, top 40. So I would say that the Memphis band was like 87 to 90.
Okay.
Then I went on the road with Charisma, and you would drive to the next place. So I was driving the highways by myself. I don't know how my parents let me do that without cell phones. I just made sure
Right.
I drove in the day. I always had maps, and I only stopped at really big gas stations.
I got to tell you, your sister is loving on you like you just can't even believe it over here. Mona is just loving on you. She's
I
more
love them.
talented than she knows. I
No,
always want, she's just saying all the
thank you,
sweet,
Mom. Look,
sweet
Mona
things.
is the true music lover of our family.
Ah,
Mona was the one bringing all styles of music home: rock, jazz, blues. Mona brought everything to the house. Mona was the type of music fan that would write magazines.
what do you
Okay.
mean?
Writing magazines to her about her favorite artists, like
Oh,
magazine, like
oh,
Mona would
Yvonne's
write
here too.
magazines.
Deborah,
And
they're all here.
okay, and so Mona,
Yeah.
she is still to this day a true music lover. Like so, there's people that make mixtapes for her. She's aware of all the current music.
So
Oh,
what were you listening to?
nothing.
You weren't listening
I
to
don't
music?
listen to music. I'm addicted to television.
Okay. I know we've talked about all the
Yeah,
shows we've been
my
binging. I got some new ones for you too. But okay, so you weren't listening to music.
no.
What?
My music, the love for music came from television, memorizing theme songs because they were so sophisticated.
Like,
We only, okay, like Perry Mason, Twilight Zone,
but those are musical themes. They
Mannix.
don't have any lyrics.
Now, I know. That's why I love them. But those intervals, all those
Oh my.
intervals.
Oh, we got a Santos here too. We got a
Oh,
Nancy
what?
Santos.
So yeah, my love for music came from television.
All right, wait, I'm sorry. I have to stop you for 1 minute.
Yes.
We have to say happy birthday to David. Happy
Okay.
birthday,
Happy
David.
birthday,
I love
honey.
you.
Love you.
Okay, so your love for music came from television themes, which
Yes.
my beau, Snuffy, composes
Yes.
music for television. So it's right
Yes.
up your alley.
He's like a genius about it.
This is crazy. All
So
right, so how all right, so how do you get how do you move from doing this charisma to the next thing?
record deal. So I'm with
Now, how do
Charisma.
you get a record deal? You're one of many in this band. How do you get a record deal?
Okay, so a fate again.
I believe in
Fate.
that.
Me too.
Hmm.
I was in the studio doing a jingle for a guy named his name was Nico Laris. He
Hmm.
owned a studio called Cotton Row in Memphis, Tennessee. And I was doing a jingle. He didn't even know me that well. Like he just I do some regional jingles for him sometimes. So this gentleman named Dick Williams was just visiting Memphis. He
Yeah.
was like head of promotions and marketing for Warner Brothers in LA for over 20 years, and he's been in the music business his whole life, but he had retired and
Hmm.
wanted to manage bands. So he just happened to be visiting Memphis, stopped by the studio to say hello to Nico, and heard me singing. He was like, "Who's that girl?" And he was like, "Oh, her name's Wendy. What does she sound like with a band?" He was like, "I don't know." I don't know. So Nico had a band called Come In Berlin, and they were gigging that week. So Dick Williams introduced himself, and he was like, "Hey, you sound really great. I want to hear what you sound like with the band. Can you come sit in with Nico's band this week?" I said, "Sure." So I had three songs. I had "Saving All My Love for You,"
Oh.
uh, "Greatest Love of All," Whitney songs, and
You knew already because
yeah, I
everyone
knew those
told
because
you. You knew that
well,
you were
and
in
I
that
was singing them in the
lane.
bar. I had been singing them in the
Right.
top 40 bands.
Right.
And
Okay.
then I had, some Aretha Franklin. I think it was Respect or something like that. Who's Zooming Who? Or so I sang those three songs. And he was like, "I can get you a record deal." And I was like, "What? I'm not even
David
thinking
said,
about
"Sing Mannix."
it." So
Yeah.
um so he said, I can get you a record deal. And I was just like, whatever. I already knew I wasn't signing no contract. So I was like, do whatever you want to do. Sure, no problem. So he's like, I'll be back in 2 or 3 months. I said, okay.
How old are you when this is going on?
This had to be 19. I had to been 29 or
Okay.
30, 29 or 30. But I
Okay.
was looking younger. So I probably thought I was 23 or something. I don't know.
Right.
So he comes back a couple of months later and he has three songs. And "Coming Out of the Rain," which was one of my songs, and the only one that really made my career happen. And he had a songwriter named Curtis Boone in Detroit because now he's moved from LA and he's back in Michigan where he was born. And he asked this guy to write some songs, and they work on it together. And
Hmm.
his name was Curtis Boone. Curtis Boone was so talented, but never he didn't own an instrument. He drew a piano on his kitchen table.
And he would play his kitchen table?
He would play his kitchen table
Stop.
and he wrote these songs. I'm gonna have to send you a link to
What?
"Come In Out of the Rain." Another song called um Sharing. No, she's not sharing my love with you, but it's called I'll have to send it to you.
Oh
Beautiful
my.
songs. He did not own a piano.
Wow.
He played his kitchen
So
table.
he would just hear it in his, he
Hear it in
would,
his head.
wow.
And so I'll send you those two links to those songs because I can't even think of the best one. I can't think of the title now. But so he brought three songs with him. We recorded at Nico's studio. Um, he's like, "Okay, well, let's work on the demos. No problem." Worked on the demos. I said, "I'm
Did
not
you
signing."
feel great about the songs? Did you say, like,
Yeah, I
this is
felt great
me,
about it.
he
I didn't know.
gets me?
Yeah, well, I didn't know because I didn't know who I was. So I just thought they were
Mm,
pretty songs.
okay.
They were pretty songs that I could sing. And I was so green that I needed to like sing like two or three lines at a time because I didn't know how to really make a song my own yet. Because I
Hmm.
just had top 40 band,
Well, yeah, of course.
and I didn't dream about being an artist, so I didn't have that in me. And
Hmm.
so we just took it a couple lines at a time till I got a great performance with the songs. And then the main song that was released, "Coming Out of the Rain," that did it for me, I couldn't beat it, so we had to keep the demo. So there's distortion in that vocal, but I couldn't beat the
Wow.
performance. So Dick,
Wow.
he knew
Was it your first try at it?
probably around the first second time.
Hmm.
But again, we worked out sections at a time because I was green. I didn't even know what it meant to make a song. Like, how do you bring a song to life? And how do you get live to the studio? I didn't even understand that yet,
Right.
you know?
Of
So
course.
they had to just throw me in there, and I was willing to jump in, but I told him I'm not signing nothing because I heard the stories about record deals and all this stuff, and I don't know you. And he was like, no problem. No problem. Once we get a record deal, then you'll sign with me.
David said one take Moten.
On a few songs that happened on the Jed compilation that's out right now. The Judds. That's a story. That's another story. The
Well,
Judds had a
tell
little
it. Tell it. We're
compilation.
here. Tell it.
Okay, the Judds, the
Yeah.
famous Judds. There was a big compilation record done for them, different artists singing. And I was on that compilation and I forgot the titles. I can't think of anything tonight. You got me so excited. And so it's the a big, huge uh project that
Right.
so many artists were on, like all kinds of icons. And I was asked to sing a song on there too. And the president of the company was just like, she recorded it just one time, one take, the producer. And so that happens sometimes, but not often. And it didn't happen then. It didn't happen then. But so Dick was like, I'm not worried. When we get the record deal, because he was an executive for 40 years and
Right.
20 years at Warner Brothers. So he was like, I'm gonna get this record deal. We have to sign a thing. I'm like, okay, good. I can go through this process because I'm not giving myself away without, what kind of results are we gonna get here? Signed your life away. I heard those stories. And so he was not worried at all. So he ended up making a video. I came to Detroit after the songs were recorded. He picked a band, and the
Hmm.
band was like the main band of R&B at that time. Whoever was big in R&B, that band was the main touring band that everybody used. So
Uh-huh.
he booked them, and we made a video of me singing those three songs. And he had a bidding war between Warner Brothers, um, Elektra, Warner Brothers, and EMI.
Wow.
And so he had relationships at all those labels. And if you sounded like Whitney Houston at that time, you were going to get
Wait,
signed.
what year is this?
93.
93.
93. So
Mm-hmm.
92 was the process. 93, I got signed. So 92, 92, the labels, he had three bidding wars going on. He knew all these people. He decided to go with EMI and, you know, which stand for every mistake imaginable. But I didn't know that at the time. Uh,
Now,
and
so now what are you thinking at this time, Wendy? You have your first record deal. There's a bidding war. Are you foreseeing like Whitney, I'm going to be the next? Are you seeing that? Are you thinking that?
no, I'm like, man, what kind of joke is this? I don't even like singing. How am I going to get a major record deal when I don't even like singing?
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it, but I'm always good with just going with the flow, doing my ultimate best. No matter what I jump into, I'm going to do my best. But because it wasn't a dream, I couldn't believe it. I'm going to do my best though, till I can figure out what it is I want to do. And so, how this major record deal on EMI, she's the next girl that's going to be the next Whitney Houston. David Foster's calling because he heard that coming out of the Rain record. He tells this story. It's a clip on YouTube of they used to do this producer showcase thing in Japan, and he did it one year, and he was like, "Come do it," because Whitney can't do it, and so I had to sing "I'll Always Love You." I had to sing "I Have Nothing," and he let me sing one of my songs, and I was like, "Dude, she's my nemesis, not in a bad way, but just I can't get nothing done because you remind us of Whitney Houston." He was like, "No, no, I'm gonna promote you. It's gonna be fine." Okay, he was working on my second album at that time, David Foster, and so I go to Japan with him. We do this
Wait,
huge,
so all right, because I want to know what happens with the first
yeah,
album. Okay, so you go to
yes.
Japan with David Foster. Yeah, go ahead. We'll
Okay.
go
I
back.
go to Japan with David Foster because he's producing my second record at the time.
Mhm.
And this is a big
Wow.
concert at the Budokan in Tokyo with the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra and with his five piece. Leela Sklar was there, Chester Thompson. I
Lovely.
know you do. So it was like, that's where we first met. So this was
Wow.
1995.
Wow.
So, yeah, even though David Foster's on the word. So we'll go back to the other story, which was
Your first record.
my first record. So there we are. We're working on the first record. And Dick Williams was he knew songs. He worked promotions, the biggest records, 70s, 80s at Warner Brothers. So he knew what should happen with someone like me. And they kept fighting him the whole way. And I don't know if that was because Whitney was so huge and we sounded so much alike that it became a thing, you know. I
So
don't know.
did they not promote you? Did they not send you
They
out?
did, but they still didn't know what to do with me. You know, instead of finding
So what
out,
was it like? The album drops, and what's your life like when the album drops? What are you doing? Where are you going?
okay, so I'm getting used to being in the game of the
Okay.
business. I'm working on the record. You got songwriters working with you. You're flying to different places. You're in the game.
And
Uh,
where are you performing? Where are you promoting? Where are you singing?
okay, so when I first got my record deal, you do all the radio stations. I'm in the car with all the promoter guys and EMI going to
Right.
every radio station across America. You know, different promoters in different markets.
And is that fun or is that
No, it's
tedious?
fun. I love the
Okay.
road.
Hmm.
I love being gone all the time. So it was,
Hmm.
and they were always good people. I was always safe. And I would go and hit all the radio stations, the big ones. You know, you sing something and you do an interview, and it was great. Everybody's like, "Oh, we really enjoyed her." You know, okay. And so Coming Out of the Rain was played on three formats. It was played on the rivers, the pop stations, and the R&B station. So that was getting airplay on three. However, a lot of people kept thinking it was Whitney Houston. And so
Yeah.
not a bad thing. I mean, she was a queen. So, but and my name was Wendy. Whitney or Wendy.
Oh shit.
Then we
Yeah.
got that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so it was a good ride. And because I had no expectations, I was surprised every time. Because I wasn't like, oh my God, I want to be as big as blah blah. How come this is not happening for me? How come? And I was just like, I'm just going along for the ride. And when this ends, okay, it'll be what it is. I mean, that changed over time, but I didn't know how long it was going to last. I didn't realize it was real. Is it real? So of course, with that, I did the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Oh
How
yeah,
was that?
amazing. But because you know, I just didn't realize where I was. So and I treat every gig like it's a bar gig. That's how I get into it. That keeps me from spinning out or overthinking or getting nervous. So Jay Leno, bar gig.
Not so you're not nervous when you're going on national television,
No, no,
international television?
just as soon as they call my name is over. You know what I'm saying? So, Budokan, Philharmonic, the Tokyo Philharmonic bar gig. And that's how I got through all of it. Tonight Show bar gig,
Wow.
all that.
But it
And
has to be coming back at you because now all these people are seeing you. I mean, your family has to be freaking out that all of this great stuff's
they
happening, right?
have supported me my whole life, and we support each other. My parents
Mhm.
encouraged any of our dreams, they supported them the best way they could. Um, but my family, and we've never talked about this, but I think they learned more about me watching The Voice than I've ever shared. I never talk about what I'm doing. They learn more
Wow.
about me watching The Voice. When I go home, I never talk about me. I'm the one with the camera. I want to listen to everything that's going on in their life. So I never said, "Oh, I played Medium in France," or I played all the stuff that I do. I never
Wow.
talk about it. Me. I didn't want to do like, look what I did. I was like, even though they cared, they wanted me to be happy and they loved me and they were happy that I was happy. But they learned more on The Voice. And a lot of my friends too, they were like, how come you didn't tell us about that and that and that? Like, I just do the work, tunnel vision, just do the work.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we have to get to the voice. So okay, so you have this deal, you have this record, you go on the Tonight Show, you get David Foster does your second album. Is momentum building? I assume.
Yes, momentum is building, but still, I
But you're
was
getting
still,
confused with Whitney and all of that stuff.
well, I got confused with a lot of that. That was a lot of it.
Hmm.
And maybe there's pressure too from, are you going to play Whitney or Wendy? That kind of game that goes on.
Hmm.
And, you know, So it was very hard to define what kind of artist, because my music was from everywhere and I didn't write. So that was another thing. Whitney didn't write either, but she had Clive Davis.
Right.
Okay, Clive is a genius.
Right.
He's gonna find the right song for your voice.
Right.
Dick Williams tried that. He was great at it too, but the record company kept pushing back. And Charles Koppelman signed me, and I
And they're
was
defining you as a pop artist, I assume,
a
right?
pop artist for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But pop at what? What am I singing? What is my defining? How do you know it's a Wendy Moten song? They've never
Ah,
figured that out. And
ah,
because I didn't write, I couldn't help that process of defining
mm,
who I am.
I see.
Whitney had a sound.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Braxton had a sound. Mariah
Mm-hmm.
Carey had a sound. I did not have a sound, and they were not interested in helping me figure out what that sound was. They just figured first record, we're going to make a Whitney, second record, she could be Celine Dion. And the third record, I literally was in New York City in the office at Avenue of the Americas, and they were playing me obvious Barbara Streisand reject songs
How do you know that? Why? How do you know that?
because it's obvious they had Barbara Streisand melodies and the songs were horrible.
Oh,
So I could tell that Barbara Streisand had said no. So I talked to my A&R person that was in there and I was like, dude, why are you playing me Barbara Streisand reject songs? No, 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 that's not what we're doing. Dude, I'm not stupid. I hear that this was written for Barbara Streisand. It's just not a great song. So I had to live through that. So then that's when I uh, decided just forget everybody and I'm just going to do what I want to do, which was a pop alternative record because Paula Cole was out at the time and alternative music was just being born because hip hop
mm-hmm.
was born too. And so pop R&B was dying. 98, it was gone except for the major three. And so I was like, well, 96, I'm gonna do alternative because I got another part of me. And didn't want to have anything to really do with it.
Right.
And I didn't care because y'all don't know who to make. You won't let me be who I want to be, and you're not interested in helping me find out who I'm going to be. So I fought to do this alternative record, and they put it
Now, do you know
under
David yet?
David Foster.
No,
No,
David Santos.
I had just met David,
How did
95,
you meet David?
96. Met David because there's this big concert in Memphis. I was living in Memphis, this big concert celebrating BB King. At that time, there used to be a Northwest Airlines. The COO of Northwest Airlines was Chris Clouser, music lover. And Ringo, used to have this band, the All Star band that Ringo had.
Right.
But his daughter was sick and he had to let the band go. So Northwest Airlines picked this band up. Now, in this band was Billy Preston, Mark Farner, Randy Bachman, Lou Graham, Steve Cropper, who just passed away.
I
Steve
know, I'm
Cropper,
so
I know, oh my
sorry.
gosh. And a few other stars like that. Liberty DeVito was the drummer from Billy Joel.
He's such a good friend of
Isn't
mine.
he?
I
Okay,
love,
Lib called me
I
Face.
love
No funny.
Liv.
He calls me Face. You be like, do you know Face? He be like, Wendy Mode. So Lib calls me Face. Mark Rivera was playing sax, and David was the bass player. And we
Unbelievable.
met in the elevator here in Nashville. So I did this big concert in Memphis. I was the only female on the bill. And on this bill was Slash, Willie Nelson, Keb Mo,
Okay.
Michael McDonald. It was on and on. I'm gonna send you a photo of that. I got so much to send you. I just want you to look at it. Buddy Guy, Michael McDonald, Boss Skaggs,
Oh
Willie
gosh.
Nelson, Jeff Headley, Keb Mo, Isaac Hayes, Al Green, and I was the only female on that bill. That was 95.
Really?
Yeah, Wendy Mo.
Wow.
So Northwest Airlines funded that concert, and they didn't know me. I was just local girl who had a record out that was doing great. She opened up for Michael Bolton. He was playing arenas at
Oh,
that
so
time.
that already happened?
Yeah,
You
that
were
had happened. So that's why
okay.
they put
So
me on
you
the
did
show.
that in support of your one of your albums.
Well, it was kind of like they had this big concert in Memphis. I was a recording artist from Memphis. Somebody thought, hey, let's put Wendy Moten on there. She
No, but I
hit
mean
to
when you were
oh,
with with Michael Bolton. You went out in support of your album when you
Oh
were
yeah,
touring.
that was
Yeah.
just he chose it was between me and Regina Bell. And I think he chose me because I was the least known. I was a new artist. But I walked away and I had a 10-piece band, the Detroit band, had a 10-piece band, and I was walking away with standing ovations
Oh,
for somebody that people had never heard of before.
wow.
So it took him about a couple of weeks, about 3 weeks, almost a month, and then he finally called me to his dressing room because we always started on time. We were good people. He didn't have a diva artist opening up. Made no demands to the point that the crew, I think we were there a month or 2 months, I can't remember now, ended up giving us full lights and full sound. They started
Oh,
out with little
so he
PA.
wasn't threatened by that. He liked the fact that you were this professional doing a
No,
great
I don't know
job.
what was what. I don't know. He chose me, but he didn't like talk to me for weeks. Okay. Now, welcome to the tour or nothing. I mean, we cool now, but I understood that I need to wait till he was ready. Just do a good job, and that's it. And so I was doing a great job, and nobody had complaints with crew or band or anything. And then there was a critic who came to the show maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks, a month in on like Buffalo or somewhere. And he was like, his band needs to watch my band because we didn't have, my band was fully live. There was no tracks or anything. And
Uh-huh.
not that his band used tracks, but he had of course, he got the best band too. And said that his band need to come out and watch us. And that following show, his band was lined up watching us perform. And then, a couple of weekends later, they asked to sit in, the percussionists and people like that. And then we were so nice as a group that we ended up with full blown lights and sound. They just wanted to do that for me.
Wow. All right. So you've got three albums. You've opened for Michael Bolton. What? After the
We
third
don't know
album, what
why.
happens?
We don't know why it's not sticking.
Okay.
And we do know because I had not great songs. First record, great songs written by Curtis Boone. It set me up. It was a style of my own. He wrote for my voice.
Right.
Second album, too many producers in the kitchen. You got
Mm.
David Foster producing something totally different than Walter A., who produced my Mariah Carey.
Hmm.
Totally different than the third producer who produced a lot of the Anita Baker, Aaron Zigman. So you had four different producers, and they used to do that in the 90s. That
Right.
was a 90s thing.
Hmm.
And, everybody charging $100,000 a song in the 90s, 1995. So, you're already $1 million in debt with 10 songs and everybody making $100,000 a song. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus. Yeah.
So, but those were the 90s. The producers were king. They didn't matter who the artist was at that time. And but the songs they just weren't great. They weren't enough to set me up as this is a Wendy Moten sound, and I couldn't help them because I didn't write. And
Mm.
I didn't. I was still learning what where I was, and because I didn't dream about it. You know, you have to dream about being a star.
You're not starting to taste it and want
Oh,
it
I
and
tasted it. No, I enjoyed it, but I knew that it wasn't real because I've heard too many tragic stories about the music industry.
hmm.
So I knew that it wasn't real, and I would do my best. I jumped in. I liked the star treatment. I appreciated it, but I wasn't like 100% like I'm a star. I
You
was
weren't a diva.
no, I was not a
Mm-mm.
diva, and I
Hmm.
liked being personable with people.
Hmm.
I like
So how did you go from having this record deal and having these albums and being the front and center to then becoming a
background singer.
duet partner?
Duet partner. Well, I didn't try to do that. It's just I was trying to get out of my record deal, and we found a little glitch that we could get out, and of course they were like, "We spent millions on you." I'm like, "Yeah, but sounds more like tax write-offs because I'm not reaping
Mm.
any benefits, so I'm feel like you just write me off." And I was just wanted out. I just wanted out, and so it just worked out that Julio was right there. And I had only planned to stay for 1 year because I enjoyed being a recording artist. I enjoyed singing my own songs and touring and seeing the world.
Right.
And I was going traveling out of the country since 15. And when I got a record deal, I was able to get paid to travel, and so I wanted to continue that. So I wanted to be a recording artist. I did find love for it and passion and enjoyed, people coming to hear me sing. But the fact that they didn't really know what to do with me and I couldn't help them define who I am. I was just like, okay, well, get me out of
Well,
this.
so when you started singing with Julio, were you happy? Were you bummed? Were you?
No, I was happy because he's was it still is one of the living legends and one of
Hmm.
the greatest artists in music history.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna sing with him, and now he's telling me that you're one of the greatest singers in the world.
Oof. Wow.
So I got Julio Iglesias. And then years have passed. So he's sharing more because I'm staying at the house, I'm flying in the planes. And then he tells me, I've recorded, I sang with Barbara Streisand, Whitney Houston. He did the whole laundry list, but he says, when I sing with you, it's something else. So I, and mind you, when I sang with him, it was a totally different part of my throat, my voice. It was more Sarah Brightman, more airy, more clear tones.
Mm.
It was a different way, but all I did was just mirror him. That's all. I learned he used to sing his duets from behind me, so I can't see how he's breathing. So I had to learn how to breathe with him.
Why is he behind you?
That's just the visual that he wanted. So, but he's
Oh,
like right here,
uh-huh.
so he can bite my neck and my ear and lick my back and all that. Because darling, we make love on the stage. We make love on the stage. So that was the thing. So there was a lot of biting earlobes. And
Mm.
if we're singing forward, sometimes he'll bite my nose and lick my face and put his hand down my back and push in. And people are like, oh my God, he would do that to me too. It was like, so it was acting. And a bunch of like just head in my neck, my ears and my
So
hair.
wait, how are you having a relationship with David if you're traveling the world with Julio and Julio's biting your neck on
Well,
stage?
he when he first met David, he told David, I'm gonna make you so jealous tonight. And David was like, yeah, okay. Because I already told him all this stuff. And I already told, and again, it was for stage only.
Of course.
And so,
But isn't it hard to have a relationship and David's off traveling the world
yeah,
also.
yeah. Is
And
that
so
hard?
how often are you seeing each other? How are you building this relationship?
Well, we lived together, so that helped.
Well, you live together, but you're both off.
We had very expensive phone bills. When people used to have the calling card, you got to find a payphone and put in 25 digits. We did a lot of that. We did a lot of faxes, and you send the fax. You write a letter, you send a fax. You spend, when we first started dating, we were using the fax machine, and we would have
Unbelievable.
hundreds of dollars of telephone bills a month, three, four, $400. My mom was like, "You guys are stupid." She didn't say the word stupid, but she insinuated that we were spending way too much money. And he would write these 3, 4 page letters and fax them to me, handwritten.
Oh,
Isn't that sweet?
it
Handwritten
is.
things. So when we started touring, we were living together. And yeah, I would be gone with Julio about 9 months a year, 2 or 3 months
Wow.
at a time, come home for a week or two, and then gone for another 2 or 3 months. Well, he was building his career too. So he was kind of happy that he could have tunnel vision too.
Right.
And have to worry about, we're not together, we're not going to dinner, and when you coming home, because I was gone.
And how did it work out? Like if you had 2 months on and then a week or two off, did David have a week or two off at the same time or did no?
No, it was
So
just
could you fly to where he was to be with him?
sometimes we would every blue
Mhm.
moon, but not really. Not really, because I was usually too far. I was always in some distant land, Syria, Serbia, Kazakhstan,
Wow.
you know, Russia, some strange place. He might be in America, but American tours kind of like to stay, Europe
Right.
and South America, little South America. Well, we were all over the world.
Hmm.
So we would just try to call each other often. And then what was the next thing? Skype was born.
Right.
Skype probably saved us because we could look at each other's face. So Skype was
Right.
born, and then cell phones came,
That changed
and,
everything.
and then it got easier and easier. And by the time it got to cell phones, we're together 20 years now, so we didn't even call home half the time. No news was good news. You call me like, is everything okay? We got to that point that if you call, something must be wrong. So, emails, and it just worked out. And in a way, it was great because he's like practice all the time. So he might practice 8, 9 hours.
Right.
And I'm not
It
there.
it allowed you the freedom to be
Yes.
your best selves.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's what it did. And he would get unsolicited reports from men on tour. We love Wendy so much. Now, had he gotten horrible reports? She's a slut, or she gets drunk all the time, or crazy stuff, it might not have been so good. But he always got unsolicited support reports of we love her and good
That's
hang on the
fantastic.
road. You know what I mean?
Now, does it ever overlap? Do you ever play together? Did that ever back then? Did that ever happen?
That never happened because
Never
the people he
happened.
was touring with didn't have background singers. John
Hmm.
Fogerty, CSN. Uh,
Hmm.
we were when I was on tour with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. That was also a 15-year stance that I had. We did end up in the same city once, um, maybe like 2015
Once.
or something. And the two crews had to let us know we were in town and that
Oh,
our hotel was like 2 blocks away.
wait, David says that van accident. I don't know what that means.
The van accident.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's a whole other story. I was in Romania, but getting back to us being in the same city and we
Yeah.
didn't know. And the two crews, the Melissa Etheridge crew guys, and the Tim and Faith crew guys, they were like, "Hey, David's in town." I was like, "Huh?" I didn't know, but the two crews knew each other,
That's
and thank
hysterical.
goodness, because I'm like Dr. Moten on the road. I carry everything that I think I might need, and David was sick, so I had to end up taking some medicine to his hotel, which was only a couple of blocks, 2 blocks away. I didn't know.
I can't believe you guys didn't have each other's itinerary. That's crazy.
Well, he'll have it, but it's not like he's gonna read it, and neither am I. I didn't read it, obviously.
Hysterical. Okay, so so you're with Julio, then you're with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Um and then.
So I was 2005. I
Mhm.
got this call, and they were like, "Hey, can you come and do this television show that Faith Hill is doing on NBC?" I was subbing for Crystal Talaferro. She's been with Billy Joel 25 years, so she was in the Tim and Faith band, and so they asked if I could sub for her because she had some other obligation. I said, "Sure, okay, NBC, all right, Tim and Faith, I love y'all, good," and that was it. And then that was like November 2005. January 2006, they're about to start this huge arena tour. One of the other girls was let go for some issue. I don't know. And they were like, well, just get the girl who just did this other show because we got to start rehearsals next week. And I was like, okay. They were like, hey, can you come out on the road? And I said, okay, let me make a phone call. So I called Julio and I said, are you going to tour much this year? Because I just got asked to do a tour. And he was just like, this was 2006. And he was like, no, 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 I won't do too many dates. It's okay. You can take it. You can take it, but come back. Come back. I said, okay. So that gave me the place where I could say yes to Tim and Faith. I'm going to be there for a year. And that's it.
Now,
And
does Julio call you in the middle of that and say, come back?
no, 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 right before the end of the tour, he was like, come back. Don't forget to come back. So that was the end of 2006. So 2007, I went back to Julio. They still toured again, the Soul to Soul tour with Tim McGraw, Faith Hill. They toured again, and I didn't think I would see those people ever again. Anybody from the crew or band or anything. And so I'm back with Julio now. And then 2008 came and they did the tour again. And it worked out that I could do both tours
Wow.
in that year. So I had Tim and Faith and Julio Iglesias.
And you didn't see David at all.
But he was on tour too. He was on with Big X. He was with Crosby, Stills and Nash and John Fogerty.
Mhm.
So he was gone too.
Mhm.
So we're at home making money. Everybody's happy, and then we could call each other. There's cell phones now.
And now there's FaceTime. Yeah,
And
David
there's
said this.
FaceTime. There's FaceTime. He was
Right.
he was happy because he was just like good because he when he's driven, he is driven. And so if he don't have to worry about me, I don't have to worry about him. I know where he is, either on the road or at home practicing. So it worked out. And then the Faith Hill relationship lasts from 2005 to 2018.
So how do you segue completely out of Julio and now you're Tim and Faith? You're not going back and forth the whole time, are
No,
you?
no, it just
No.
worked out that blocks of tours worked out.
Wow.
Here's a block, 4 or 5 months. Okay, Julio got 3 months this year. It
Wow.
worked out. Never overlapped. One year
Wow.
I had three artists in one year I had because Julio got rid of me for real 2012. And he was just like, "You're a lady, I'm like, dude, I was always a lady. You thought I was in my 20s. That's on you, buddy. So he was like, "You're a woman." I knew it was over then. That was 2012. So I'd have to worry about him 2014, you know, well, yeah, 2012, 2013, I didn't have to worry. So I was still out with Tim and Faith. 2014, he calls me and he said, "Hey, um, Sony's doing this big thing for me all over the world. I want you to come with me." And I said, I can't. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I just did 2 weeks with Martina McBride of rehearsals. If I and we're gonna tour in a week. If I leave this lady, I would have to relocate." After 2 weeks of rehearsals, and she had a big production,
Yeah.
I would have, and I'm gonna quit at the end of rehearsal. I said, "Do you not think that I'm gonna okay, let's see, Kansas or the French Riviera? Of course I want to go with you." I said, "But I can't. I have to stay." And he was like, "Puta." You know what that means?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he says it all the time in a good way. This is such a image. I'm like, I can't do it because I gave her my word. We've been in rehearsals for 2 weeks,
Hmm.
and the tour's about to start.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, I had to go with Julio. Be that private life, private plane life. No. And he said we went out to dinner that night, and that's when he called me all kind of. But I ain't gonna accept no bad behavior. But he respected me for that too, I'm sure,
Hmm.
because I kept my word.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna jump ship like that. But so he called me back 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2018. And Tim and Faith did a big tour 2017, 2018. He called me back 2018 because I was touring with her 2014 to 2016. Then I was with Vince 2016 till present.
Okay, so how did that relationship with Vince start?
Was when he called me and asked me to come out on the road with him. And that's and then I asked him how did he find me,
Oh,
and
right. Right. I remember we talked about this
that
at the beginning.
yeah,
Okay, so
I was unemployed for a day.
it's unbelievable. Okay, so you have all these people that you can go back to that are now the pandemic comes. Okay, so and get the Grand Ole Opry the year before the pandemic. And is that like a life changer right away? Like as soon as that happens, like
No.
wait a minute. How does all this country music come into you? Like did you didn't listen to country music, I bet.
Of course, I watched Hee Haw.
Oh, you watched Hee Haw.
I watched Hee Haw. And then Patsy Cline was the first country artist I ever knew by name. And we
Uh-huh.
all watched Roy Clark on Hee
Hmm.
Haw. They had the best music. They had comedy. It was inviting. That's why when I talk to different people, different panels, I tell them that TV in the 70s and late 60s, 70s was a way because integration was new. That was a way to look into all these other different races in the safety of our home. So people could watch Soul Train and be like, oh, that's how black people do it. And we could look at Soul, look at Hee Haw and be like, oh my gosh, you know what? I actually like that country song. Otherwise, all of our worlds were separate. They were
Mm,
separated. So
hmm.
TV was a way to look inside other people's homes and look inside other cultures in the safety of your home. So yeah, I found out I love country music. And look at all of that. And the other part of my classical singing, I was listening to Lawrence Welk. So I had that
David just typed Lawrence Welk.
well, so I had that Lawrence Welk tone to my voice too. So I can go
Hmm.
there, I can go to classical. I got all these avenues that were influences that were just going
But
in
was pop the thing that called you the most, or no? Or were you equally drawn to each genre?
equally drawn to both. And I was
Hmm.
always going to be pop.
Hmm.
I was always going to be pop because even as a child, like I said, I was a Tremaine Hawkins from the Hawkins family. Oh, happy day. I was pop,
Hmm.
R&B, pop, classic, classical, Barbara Streisand. I did all the big Barbara, Dionne Warwick.
Right. I heard you sing Dion,
So
yeah.
you're a pop singer and Aretha.
But you
Aretha.
know what's so interesting about you, Wendy? Like when we saw you at the Grand Ole Opry, you started out, you did two country songs. You were magnificent. You blew the house. But then you did say a little prayer. And that forget about it. I mean, blew the roof off. I mean, that's where you live. I
That's my
mean,
core. That's my core.
psh,
It's my core because Aretha Franklin is my core because that was Aretha Franklin version. She is the core of my whole being.
mm,
And when I go to the Opry, I love singing traditional country songs. Otherwise, where am I going to sing them?
hmm.
And then also, I want the audience to feel like they're in safe hands.
Right.
I don't want them to just start like, don't you know this is a country venue? Yes, I do know. So let me hit you with something that you're comfortable with. And I thank the Opry for letting me sing whatever I want. They do not dictate what I sing. They said, we don't care what you sing.
Wow.
What a blessing that is. And when you were there, that was my 37th performance at the Opry.
Unbelievable.
Some people get one
Wow.
for a lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Unbelievable.
it's like a blessing. And it keeps me in practice for large venues because the Opry seats 4,400 and usually there's at least 3,800 people there.
Right.
Sometimes it sells out. But where else am I going to practice in a large venue?
Did your parents get to see you? Did they get to
No, they
see you?
died, right? My mom passed in 2012 and my daddy 2016.
But did they get to see you sing in a big venue? And
Oh,
forget the Opry.
they got a chance to see me perform, but not a lot because they didn't travel.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw me on TV. They saw my
Yes.
videos on VH1. They saw me at Jay Leno. They saw me at the Apollo,
Wow.
played the Apollo. So it's like
Unbelievable.
I've like been in four different genres my whole career. And that's why I kind of live in a parallel universe. Because had I been just this one thing, you're locked in that forever.
Hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with it because people have longevity there. But since the longevity didn't really happen for me on that side, okay, in this unparalleled this parallel universe, this unconventional lane, it's endless. It never stops.
It's so fast. All right, so let's talk about the voice. So here you are. You have this very successful career. You've lived a million lives and done all of this. You've played all of these venues. You've done everything. But why would you put, I mean, that was really balls to the walls because you're being vulnerable in front of the whole world. But the payoff, as it was for you, could be enormous. So how did that process start? Oh, maybe I should do the voice, and then take us through it.
Well, COVID hit. And then I was
What
like,
were you doing when COVID hit?
we were just home.
Who,
Everybody was.
but before it hit, who were you see?
I would think that just some shows with Vince Gill,
Hmm.
and I had just done Tim and Faith big tour 2017, 2018. That was a big tour.
Well, right, but this is
2019,
now 2020.
this 2019, 2020, it was just waiting on Vince to go out on the road.
Okay.
2019, I was on tour with Vince.
Okay.
So we just waiting on Vince to go out on the road. The world stopped.
Right.
21, the vaccine was available.
Are you on the first voice show
When they
during the
brought the audience
pandemic?
back. No, when they brought the
Oh, when
audience
that's
back.
right. That's right. You had the audience, right? Of
The
course.
2020, they didn't have an audience.
Right, right. They were just the little boxes, right?
Yes. So they said
I know a girl who was on then, Joanna Serenko. My
2020.
first boyfriend's daughter was
Oh,
on that
nice.
year. She
Oh,
was in the
great.
top 12. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, um, so I'm thinking, Wendy Moten, what are you gonna do when the world opens back up? Because we don't know if we're gonna be in venues that people sit close together or singing.
Right.
We don't know what's gonna happen. Nobody knows. So I
So
said,
wait a
well,
minute. Now
yeah.
the pandemic hits and you and David are together for the first time
Oh
in
my
your life.
gosh. It's so true.
It's crazy. That's the
Oh
first
my
time you
gosh.
guys are at home in the
Is
same
it like,
house.
yeah. So, it was hard the first week because we're like, aren't you going somewhere? No, aren't you going somewhere? So we would snap at each other a little bit.
Sure.
Now it's like, okay, listen, we don't know how long this is going to last. So we got to be friends. We're in this together. He was like, yeah, you're right.
Mm.
Yeah. So, because we were used to somebody getting up out of here. And so we were just close,
It
just
had to be
together, just
hard at
in it.
first to get used to being,
Well,
right?
we were just like, I mean, it was easy because we enjoy each other, but now you don't have a job and you're here and you don't have a job either. Okay, so it was a little tough for the first couple of days, and then we was just like, we gotta be friends. Like we can't snap at each other. And then we were like, yeah, okay, cool. We did like 2 interviews. People wanted to know what it was like for two musicians to be stuck in a house together. And so that was fun. And
Hmm.
then Melissa Etheridge did a video with us too, a live thing with David and I, and she was with her wife, and so that was a good thing when they had a little series going.
Oh, how
Uh,
fabulous. Yeah.
so yeah, we're at home like for real, and we don't know how long we're gonna be home together, and it was perfect. We had a really good time being together.
Well, you
He
guys are
would go
great
out and
together.
get food for us every day. It was dangerous. He was like, "I'm gonna go get us food." So he was the one going to the grocery stores. He was the one getting out there in the world.
Did you guys get COVID?
Yes. And I got COVID like 2 weeks before the vaccine was available. Because I
Oh,
was like, I don't want it in my body at all. And I don't want this vaccine. But I got COVID. And then
Mhm.
he got COVID. And I was sleeping upstairs and he was sleeping downstairs. And we would FaceTime each other and talk.
Oh.
Okay. And then, it was still scary times because there was a lot of people
Mm,
dying and they didn't know how to
mm,
fix it.
mm.
And so it was scary times, and you didn't know how long you're going to have it or what it was going to do. Or do you have the kind that you got to be rushed to the hospital? Like nobody knew.
Right.
And so we just kept an eye on each other. And I remember one of the time jumpers' wives, she made me some chicken noodle soup, and it like was healing my body.
Mm,
And that's when we realized the only thing that works for COVID is vitamins.
hmm.
That was the only thing that was helping COVID. So we loaded up on vitamins, but we got COVID. And that's what made me think that it's airborne because we live out far. Nobody stops over just because. And we really went around people and we still caught it.
Right.
So I had to think that it had to be airborne. It wasn't like we were around a lot of people all the time. There was no risk. The risk was low and we still got it. So I ended up with it 3 times.
Oh.
The second time I had the vaccine, but I didn't feel it at all.
Huh.
No symptoms.
Wow.
Third time, I felt a little bit, but you know, but the vaccine helped me not have the symptoms, that COVID headache, that
Right.
thing.
So now, so okay, so you're home in during the pandemic. What makes you think, okay, I'm going to go on The Voice. I'm going to audition for The Voice. How do you get there?
Sitting here at my desk, I'm like, Wendy, when the world opens up, what are you going to do? You don't know if the tours are going to be there. Are people going to come out and buy tickets to go to a concert, which is not,
Mm,
it's a luxury. It's not a necessity. Like, what are you going to do? And I said, okay, I got to get back out there. And because the superstars were afraid that they wouldn't have an audience anymore, I was like, oh, the playing field is even. I can get back out here because everything is in the box now. Everything is computer. Nobody's out there performing. Everybody's having concerts at home.
right.
So, okay, well, the playing field is equal. So when it opens back up, what are you going to do? I'm ready to be an artist again. I want to be solo. Okay, how are you going to do it? I need television. What kind of TV can you stomach? Because everything is reality TV.
Right.
And you know, I'm from the era that you don't share anything. You don't talk about what you do. You don't be like me. Look what I'm doing. Hey, I'm great. So what can I stomach? I said, okay, I can handle um The Voice. At least it's a serious singing show. And the idea is to get exposure so I can get booked as an artist. So recording a solo
Now, are
artist.
you discussing this with David?
No, not at all.
No.
Nobody.
Nobody.
No, not David, nobody. Because I knew what he was going to say. And sure enough, when I did tell him, he said those things. What are you doing? They can't teach you anything. Why are you wasting your time? They're amateurs and they're this and they're and amateurs, just not just the contestants, but just, the whole process.
And what's the process of auditioning during the
Of it.
pandemic?
That's when you could just send a video in from your home.
So you didn't have to go wait in line and do
Oh,
all of that.
I was not going to do the cattle call.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
Mm,
But sending it from my home and not telling nobody and making it a secret. So if they say no because you got too much experience, or no because you're too old, or no because anything, I can handle it. It'll be my secret. I'll take it.
and what song did you send them?
I sent them 3 different songs. I sent them Over the Rainbow that I did in the show.
Yes,
I
you
sent
did.
them a country song till I get it right, and something else. I have to find those videos. I don't know. I forgot what it was, but
And what did you have to tell them about yourself?
okay, they need a story.
Right.
They don't need a story,
Well, a
but it
story
helps having a
helps.
story. It
Right.
helps. And I wasn't abused and didn't sleep in my car. Like you said, I had 2 parents, everything was good. So I've been in entertainment enough. So I said, okay, she's had a major record deal. She's performed with some of the greatest artists in music history. And now I have the courage to go after The Voice.
I love it.
Courage being the main word.
I love it.
So I knew that they would possibly take that bait, because now I have the courage to go after The Voice. After all of that, the duets with Michael McDonald, okay, but no, coming back down to The Voice. Forget all that other stuff I did. And so they were like, yeah, it's a good story. Because I didn't have the other stories, and I didn't want to make anything up. I wasn't going to make anything up.
Right.
So, so I had to play chess. I knew what I was going to do. It was going to be a strategic game that I was going to play. And the game was, if only John Legend turns around, okay, I'm gonna go with John Legend. If everybody turns around, and they gave me standing O, then you can choose your coach. If everybody stands up, you can, claps, you can,
Right.
everybody turns around, you can get. So I had a plan. I knew I was gonna pick Blake Shelton.
You did.
Yeah,
And
that's what
it's
I was
because
doing.
is it because he won so much? Is that
No, no, because I didn't know how far I was gonna go. I went with Blake so I could have a little bit more push about the songs I wanted to sing. Ariana was young. I don't know any new songs. Kelly Clarkson, young. I don't know any new songs. John Legend, I don't even know new R&B songs. So if I had gone with any of them, I would have, like, it wouldn't have been good because I wouldn't have known those songs. But with Blake, like he said, every week in your own voice, Blake, he said, I don't know what to do with her. I said, I do. Can I do this song right here and this song? Because I knew I wanted to sing older songs.
Hmm.
So I had a better chance of that happening if I have Blake,
Fascinating.
and he didn't really know. He all he know is why. Because if you ever go back and look at my blind audition at the very end, when it was time for you to choose your coach, everybody was surprised. I think they thought I was going to go with John Legend.
Yeah, right. Of
Blake was
course.
surprised for real. He was surprised for real.
But you knew all along that's what you were
I
going
was
to
playing
do.
chess.
Wow.
I knew what I wanted out of this because I didn't know how long I was going to last. I didn't watch the show, like watch it and study the show. So I'm glad I didn't know what to anticipate because that would have messed it up. Every day was a surprise for me.
So wait, so you sent in your tapes, you sent in your thing,
Yeah.
and you get they say, okay, we want you're going to
Once
come
they,
in and do the blind audition.
so then they said, hey, we really like your video. We're going to reach out to you in a couple of months, but we want you to come to the show. Now, I still haven't told David yet. I keep this secret. I haven't shared it with my family at all because, I'm still wondering if I made a mistake. I'm going on a talent contest in front of 6 to 8 million people for them to say that you suck. And I didn't know how real or not real. I don't know the dynamic of the game.
Are you is there any fear? Are you scared at all?
I'm scared before I left
Yeah.
because I didn't know if I made a bad choice about going on number one reality TV. Are they going to destroy the 35 years I built? Are they going to embarrass me? Are they going to, like, what are they going to do to me? It's
Right.
reality TV.
Right.
And so I didn't tell David for a long time, till maybe a month or two before I knew my flight was happening. Yeah. Then I told him. And then he was like, what are you doing that for? They're not, this is, he was scared for me. And I said, this is all that I have. I have no other support. I got to fast track this. And the only way I can fast track this is television. So I had no other way to get out there. No support. You're in your 50s. You can't, nobody's going to sign you. Nobody wants to manage you. They're like, it's over. But I knew it wasn't over.
This is so smart.
Hey, I knew it wasn't over and I was taking a chance. Yes, I've done all this. Still not a household name. So that means I still got some leg. I got some room
And why The Voice and not American Idol?
because American Idol is dealing with making idols. And
The Voice is about The
the voice
Voice.
is about the voice and you have a better chance of staying on longer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, mm-hmm.
The American Idol, they were looking for idols and typically young ones.
Right.
So I was just like, at least a voice will allow people over 50 if we
Right.
can handle it.
Right.
So I said, if they accept me, I know this is the path to take. And if they don't, I got to find another way to survive. And so I was willing to take that challenge. Now, about a week before it was time for me to leave, and Debbie knows this story, my sister Debbie. A week before it was time for me to leave, I was in the fetal position, crying my eyes out. David was asleep. He didn't even know. I was crying. I was so afraid.
Oh my God.
I was so afraid that maybe I made the wrong choice. And, you know, um, and so the next day, Debbie called and she said, I don't know what's going on, but I felt you all last night.
Wow.
And she said, I didn't call because David was home. And if there was something wrong or an emergency, he would call me. So I was like, I'm going on The Voice and I'm scared. And so she prayed for me and she was like, everything is going to be fine, because I'm not used to having secrets, not used to having secrets with my family, something like that. And I was so afraid that I had done the wrong thing
Mm.
that she felt me all the way in Memphis, which is 3 hours
Wow.
away. That's how terrified. So I told myself, I want to remember how afraid I was and remember when I took the leap into my new part of my journey. When I took that leap.
Mm.
And I had a dream that night too that I shared with Debbie the next day. And in this dream, I was in a desert, like in Vegas, pitch black desert. And in the distance was this huge Walmart and white neon lights. A Walmart size. It was the size of Walmart,
Oh, okay.
but it wasn't Walmart. It was the size of Walmart,
Hmm.
Walmart with white neon lights all around the whole thing, lighting up the thing. And I think I saw this peace sign with a mic, like the voice. And I heard a voice that said, if you have the courage to walk through those doors, everything's gonna be all right.
I have goosebumps.
That's what I heard. So I started walking towards that way in the desert and praying for a tour bus to pull up. Anything to keep me from going to LA and being on this talent contest.
Wow.
Nothing came. Now it's time to enter the doors. And then I walked through. So I shared this story with my sister. She was like, that was a vision. Everything is going to be fine. So I always remembered, if I have the courage to walk through those doors, everything is going to be all right. And I had that same thought when I fell on the voice.
All right, we have to talk about
Okay.
this.
Yeah. 3 weeks before the finale. Everybody's saying she's the front runner. All the ads, all the TV, everybody, and it was
We
obvious.
were team we were team
Yeah.
Wendy. From my son Harry,
Yes, your son,
from
I love
day
him.
one, he's like team Wendy. We were team Wendy from day one. We
Thank
loved
you.
you.
Thank you. So glad I got to talk to him. But so everybody says she's a front runner. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna do the right thing? Gonna make sure I win? And I had already said to myself, like, I'll take second or third place. It's okay. But I'm competitive. Of course, when I got
Sure.
down to five, I was like, man, I don't know nothing about second place. I'm used to winning. Used to winning.
That's right.
Okay, so 3 weeks before the finale, um, I had just turned 57 the day before. That Monday was my birthday. I turned 57 on the show. That Tuesday, the 23rd, there was only 3 people left on Team Blake, and we perform a song with your coach. And I was getting ready to make my mark because we were getting ready to go to commercial, and I fell over a monitor. It was like the perfect storm.
Oh my
And I thought I'd
gosh.
just fallen, and this happened on live TV, so it's out there.
We
And
were watching,
oh my God. I turned around and
but
while
we
still
didn't
on
know
the
what
ground.
we didn't know we didn't know
I know
exactly
they
what
didn't
was
even
happening.
know. They
Yeah, we
didn't
didn't
know.
know what happened.
No, they didn't know either.
Hmm.
And I was just there, and I saw that my elbow was jacked up. I said, "Oh, that's what a injury break looks like." Oh, okay. And nobody on The Voice came to get me. They were like in shock because I believe they thought they saw their own lives flash before their eyes. Life of the show, life of the network, and everybody was like this. So Paris, the black guy that was on Team Blake, used to be in the army. So he was behind me. He said, Wendy, I'm going to pick you up. I said, okay. So he reached behind me and picked me up. That's when
Wow.
I realized because I couldn't get up. And so then they rushed me off.
And it's both arms,
Yeah, that's
right?
what happened was I found out that this one, my right elbow completely broken. On my left side was fractured at my wrist and broken pieces in my hand.
Oh my God.
I didn't feel a thing. I didn't even cry.
You're in shock.
I don't know. I didn't cry the next day or the next day. I
Wow.
I was just like, so, you know, this happens.
Do you think that it's all over for you now? That it's all gone?
No, I was so relieved that my elbow was broken and that my head didn't slam into the floor. I was relieved. And I heard the voice that said, everything gonna be all right. So I knew whatever that presence was that told me if I had to walk through the doors, everything was gonna be all right. I knew it would take care of me here, even with broken whatever's wrong with me. So I didn't worry. I was relieved that my head hadn't slammed into the door
Mm.
and into the floor. Because the floor, I went down hard.
Oh.
So then they took me off, went to commercial. Then they said, can you come back? Because of their sponsors, everybody's like, oh Lord. I said, yeah, I'm coming back.
Wait,
And
how many people are left on The Voice at this point?
it was just, well, Blake had three, I don't know, because we're in the last 3 weeks. I forgot. Everybody
Okay.
had
But
like some had
there's
kids, some
like, okay.
it was stagnant. So
Yeah.
um they said, "Can you come back out?" Because I hadn't cried, and they probably didn't think how broken I was either. I looked normal to them. I said, "Yeah, I want to come back out because David was all the way here in Nashville. My family's in Memphis. I needed to know I was injured, but not seriously injured, life threatening.
Right.
So I wanted to send that out. And my brother was living in Vegas. He was packing a bag.
Wow.
He was getting ready to get in a car and drive to LA. So
Wow.
he was packing a bag, and his wife was like, "Hold on, she's back on." He was like, "Back on where?" So he sat there and he was like, "I'm gonna stand down."
You were back on all broken? I don't remember now.
I came back from the
Oh,
commercial because that's when Carson was like, "We've never had a fall on The Voice before." I'm like, "I know, I know." So they just, they just wanted to
you were
calm the
standing?
situation. Oh yeah, oh
Oh
yeah.
my God.
I came back, from I was sitting in this chair, and the producers were all like, and I said, "I know." I said, "This is looking bad, but I don't." I was okay because I wasn't crying, I wasn't upset, I wasn't
Right.
yelling. I was like normal, like I am in
Wow.
set every day. So, they brought me back out, because they got so much money tied up into it.
Of
They
course.
need to know that the show can continue, and the show did continue. So, this is a story only you got, but now everybody else is gonna hear it. It's 5 years later now. I can share this. So before I get into the car to go to the hospital, they put me in this little room, a little closet. And it's this guy that looks like he's in the Sopranos. And he just says, "So, how we doing?" Because I guess they needed to know what they were dealing with. That we need to call all the lawyers. But I'm thinking, can I just go to the hospital? And
Yeah,
they put
hello.
me in this little room, the soprano looking dude. "So, how are we?" I said, "We're good. All I want to do is get my arm fixed."
All he wants to know is if you're going to sue them, right?
They need to know if I was screaming my head off, making threats.
Right.
He was taking a temperature.
Right.
I said, "Dude, I just need to get my arm fixed. I need to get to the hospital and pick the best doctor surgeons to fix me. That's what I want. That's it." Okay. So I guess he let them know that there's no fire alarm. You don't need to get her for now. She's not screaming lawyer. And so they had somebody go to the hospital with me.
What hospital did you go to?
Exactly. Somewhere in Burbank. It was a big hospital in
They didn't
Burbank.
even take you to Cedars? You went to St. Joseph's or something?
No, I don't know. It was a good hospital.
Okay.
It was a it was a really good hospital.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. All I know is it was good to me. And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
took great care. But they didn't know who I came from or where I came from. But they just took great care. They took great care of everybody that I
Well,
saw
so
that
you
worked.
get to the hospital
I get to
and
the hospital.
that you
So I got
get go into surgery like right away. What's
no, not
going?
at all. So surgery, no. I didn't have surgery till 3 weeks later.
What?
Okay, yeah. So I get to the hospital. I don't know what kind of hospital it was. They seemed to be nice people. Everything looked clean to me. And and the voice was on TV. The voice. And so it takes about 3 hours for me to see somebody, but I'm still not in pain, still not screaming or anything. Um, but I get 3 phone calls. First phone call, Vince Gill. Vince is like, "I saw the fall. Where are you?" I say, I'm in the hospital." He was like, "Okay, well, you have to stay on the show." I said, "Dude, I'm broken. And I don't even know how broken." But I wasn't hysterical, so it's made everybody thought
R-
that I wasn't that injured or something. I don't know. He
Right.
said, "You have to stay on the show." I said, "All right, well, I'll try my best. I'll see what's going on." Second call was from Leslie Fram, who used to be, executive over at CMT and a lot to do. One of my biggest advocates here, and one of the biggest advocate for more women in country music. She
Uh-huh.
meant that. She called. "Where are you?" And in the hospital. Are you okay? "Yeah, you have to stay on the show." I said, "What? I haven't even done an X-ray or anything." And the third call was from Chris Clauser, who was the COO of Northwest Airlines, but at this time he had been the CEO of Burger King Worldwide, and he was over the women's tennis. So he's just one of these big executive heads. And he was like, "Well, you have to stay on. You go win, and I'm gonna find you a lawyer." I said, "Okay," because running the airlines, people sue for anything. So he was just like, so I said, "Okay, well, I don't know. Vince called, and I got to see what kind of condition I'm in." So he's like, "Well, you go win," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So that was 3 calls from 3 successful people who told me to stay because I thought it was over. I
Right.
think I'm injured. They probably gonna send me home. And those 3 phone calls were like, well, if I can handle the pain, maybe I could stay. So finally I get a chance to get into a room, and they got somebody with me, the voice. And then the doctor, I said, "Well, how long do I have before this can't be fixed? My elbow." And he was like, "You got 3 weeks." I said, "When is the finale?" Because I didn't even know when the finale was. And she said, "3 weeks." I said, "Oh,
Because if you would have had the surgery then, you would have been out of commission. Is
oh,
that the
totally,
deal?
totally.
Hmm.
So breaking my elbow and where I broke it, I got a big titanium piece in now. Um,
But
so
so how are they gonna fix you up so that you can
they
live
put
in
splints. I got splints,
I remember what you looked like.
splints, and so they flew my sister Mona because Thanksgiving was the next day, the 24th. My sister Mona, they flew her out to California once they realized I wanted to stay, and they were like, "Really, you want to stay?" I'm like, "Yeah." They were like, "Oh, okay." So she's like, let me call somebody. Okay. They said she wants to stay. And they were like, "Okay." And of course they took all kind of drug tests to make sure I wasn't high or drunk. No, a triple
Right.
monitor. But so they flew Mona out the very next day. Mona made Thanksgiving dinner. She could not enjoy it for the family. She had to get on a flight, come take care of me. Now we could have had David come, but I think Mona was a better fit for this thing.
Right.
And so Mona had to come and take care of me because my fingers and hands and arms are swollen and I got on splints like this. So I can't do anything. She had to give me
God.
showers, basically brush my teeth, fix my wigs, curl my hair,
Oh
put on my
my
girdles,
God.
put on my clothes. So Mona had to endure that abuse. I'm sorry, Mona. And I didn't know that she was in pain. So she took care of me when she had some other health thing going on. She still took care of me.
Wow.
Thank you, Mona. I love you. And so Mona had to become a personal assistant. Mona had to make sure I got my clothes on, brush my teeth, make sure I'm where I need to be on time. And at that time, we were taking, if we were going on the set that day, we had to take like 2 COVID tests. We had to test every day, but going to the set,
Right.
we had to get up 5 o'clock in the morning, get tested for COVID, 6 a.m. She did all that. When we get to the set, she's got to follow me inside. She's got to do stuff that I can't do. So she actually became a personal uh, assistant.
And you're still doing the rehearsals and
Oh yeah, all of that.
you're doing all that.
Yeah. Still doing it all, just
Mm.
hands like this,
And
arms like
are you taking painkillers and doing all
they
of that
gave me
stuff?
some, but I didn't trust them. And when I took them, I couldn't tell if they were working. So I just I stuck with like Tylenol PM.
Oh my God.
At least I knew that was working. I can go to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, the other stuff I couldn't tell if it was
How
working.
did you sleep like that?
Oh, heavy pillows. So they changed my room to a double room so Monica could have a bed and just
Mm.
huge pillows. And so I did the 3 weeks with 2 broken arms. And the first week of
You
that,
couldn't even go to the bathroom.
now I learned how to wipe. I'll tell you a story about that coming
Holy
home because
sh.
David ended up buying a bidet because he was like, she can't wipe herself. Yes, I can. But anyway, I was able to wipe myself. It took a challenge, but I was able to do it.
Woo-hoo.
But Mona had to do everything else, and she was on the set every day. And I told you, Mona is the music lover. So she
Right.
is the huge music fan. So she was like, I always thought I wanted to be a part of it like that. And she was like, after working with you there, she's like, I'm good. No, I don't want to. I don't want that dream ever again. I'm good. It took the shine off.
Oh
It took
yeah.
all the glitter away.
Oh,
The getting up early, the sitting all day long,
oh.
it took all that away. So she said, I'm good. I don't want to do that job anymore. And so I did the 3 weeks. Um, the first week of my arms, they put me in these choir robes. I said, listen, after the second time in the choir, I felt this is not an insult, but again, I'm not Mahalia Jackson. I feel like Mahalia Jackson right now. Okay. And so I said, I need my black clothes back and I
I
need my
remember the
black
choir
pants,
robes.
a green one and another color one, huge choir robes. And I said, I need my black clothes back and I need my pants. And they accommodated me. And that was the week that I sang, You're All I Need to Get By. That was the first time I had my black clothes back. My hair was a mess because they still had COVID restrictions. So you had to kind of start your makeup and your hair, and then they would try to like brush it up for you. So I
Well,
let you
you
know right now.
obviously couldn't do that.
No, I couldn't do jack. And Mona's like, I am not a makeup artist. So I told them, staying on the show, can I please get somebody to help me with my makeup, at least? Because I can't do it. And Mona, that's not what she does.
Right.
So they did. They was like, okay, we'll make that for you. Okay. So, but yeah, I came back with You're All I Need to Get By, and I had on my black clothes, and they had an amazing set. The set was amazing. Like it was like in a recording studio. It was so brilliantly done. And I was sitting there holding my mic with my leg on my stand like I do it. And Blake was like, you came out here like Johnny Cash or something. You're like a pro, because I am a pro.
That's right.
So you know how to hold the mic and put your leg on the, you know how to do it. You know how to sit. So I was like, okay, cool. And then that's when I was like, man, I need to win. I don't know, I need to win. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen because I talked to the producers were totally afraid to talk to me. I said, listen, I can't be the old lady who fell. I said, the comeback is the story.
Right.
They were like, you're right, you're right. I said, the comeback is the story. I can't just be the lady who fell and left.
Right.
I said, I don't know how long. I've never been injured before, and I don't know if this pain gonna kick up or whatever. And they were like, if you need to leave, it's okay. You stay as long as you just don't fall again. I said, I'm not gonna fall again. Um, and so I wasn't sure if the pain was gonna, but my pain level stayed a 3 the
That's
whole time.
unbelievable.
I know
That's like God right there.
it is
Hmm.
literally because I got two broken arms and
Unbelievable.
sleeping, and the pain level stayed about a 3. And
Wow.
so now Chris Clouser did his thing and he found his friends in higher places. And he was like, you need to have a surgeon that's in Nashville. You need to be at home. I said, okay. So he called around and found the most brilliant doctor, Dr. Weichert. And so the
And
show,
it was safe for you to wait that long,
yeah, I only had 3 weeks. So
which is exactly what you needed,
that's what I
right?
needed. So it was
Hmm.
like the show ended December 14th. We flew home on December 16th, Mona and I went, and Mona went to Memphis and I went to Nashville. And then David picked me up from the airport on the 16th. We went to see the doctor because he wanted to see me because we were having surgery on the 17th, the very next day. So the 16th, we went right to the doctor's office. He walked in, Dr. Weichert, blood all over him. I said, you are my guy. I need a mechanic to put all this back together. I need somebody not afraid of blood. He had just put this lady's hand back together and he needed to see me. He had to see me now. And when he walked in, I was like, yep, that's my guy.
When
Smooth
I
as
met you,
me.
I never even thought about all those broken parts because you look are you completely healed like the right
My
way?
arm is crooked for life. Can
Can't
you see?
tell.
Well, this,
Okay.
can you see that?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is
It's
straight.
it's going out like
It's
that.
bold. That's a
Mm,
titanium thing holding me in there.
mm-hmm.
And, I was
Are
like,
there things you can't do?
oh, yeah, I lose it when I'm reaching for something. It throbs constantly.
Mm.
And if because I fail like this, so these are it's like crooked and the nerves and all that stuff, and it's just it throbs always. But again, my head didn't slam into the floor, and some people have one arm.
You have a great attitude. Okay, now let's go back to the show. So, people
Yeah,
like me and
yeah,
everybody else I know was sure you were going to win. I mean, there was
Me
no question.
too.
There was no question. There was no question.
With
Was
two
that it?
broken arms.
It had to be a political thing. I mean,
I have
a
no
girl
idea.
named Tom, come
I
on.
love them. They are sweet, you know, and it was the first time they had a trio. And who knows, in a way, I did have a lot more experience than most, but I did it with two broken arms.
Yes, you did.
As far as I'm concerned, we equal.
Yeah, 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 you did.
But you know, it's a game.
Well, it's
You know,
also, what's God's plan?
what God's plan,
What's
and
the plan?
you like I expressed to the young people that were in the thing with me that you have to know what you're getting out of this. There are other people with the controls in their hands with this game. So you have to know what you want to get out of it because you might not make it to the end. So, and there were some young people that were destroyed when they got sent home and they couldn't make it to the lives, or some that were on the lives. And I said, listen, this is a gas station where you fuel up. And then it's up to you where you go with this, full tank.
Okay, we've been talking for 2 hours,
Okay.
and I could talk to you for six more.
Yeah.
But okay, you did the voice,
Yes.
you broke your
I
arms.
have to tell you, David Santos took great care of me for 6 months.
I have no doubt.
He took care of me. I love you,
I
honey.
have
Thank you.
no doubt.
Okay, so
He
yeah, the
he's
voice.
writing this whole time. He's telling the whole story in you'll see it when you after the show, you'll see he's telling the whole story. And you know what's a motherfucker is Facebook takes live videos down after a month. So
Okay,
all
then.
these fabulous
Oh
comments,
my
no,
God.
they do all the fabulous comments.
Yeah, that's their new rule.
It'll always be on my YouTube and
Yeah.
other places and on my SoundCloud. But all these great comments will be gone. So
Oh my God. Well,
I'm
I need
gonna
to look at
copy
them
them.
tonight. I'm gonna read
Yeah,
them
you
all.
gotta, but anyway, worth it? Was it worth
Definitely.
it? Okay,
Definitely.
because your life has changed because of
Yeah.
the voice, right?
Well, yes, my life has changed. The thing of me crying and taking this leap of faith and reminding myself of the fear that I had
Hmm.
and breaking my arms on national TV
Hmm.
and it not phasing me at all. Like it didn't, I wasn't embarrassed. It didn't do, I didn't cry. And Blake used to
It's
talk about it all the time. So
unbelievable.
that was like, okay, that lets me know my questions were answered. Am I competitive? Do people like what I have to offer? I'm an advocate for people over 50. Every time I go, I say that speech and the room lights up. Even at the Opry, I said it. So um, then I can get rid of industry noise and I can just go on my path and not care about what somebody else is thinking or what they think is not going to happen for me. I needed that. So I told the young people, this is fuel. I need rocket fuel because I'm at the end of my race. So I need enough fuel to take me to the very end. You can fill up. That's what I did all these years, fill up. So yeah, it was well worth it because it got me back out as Wendy Moten.
Hmm.
How else was I going to do it without having a lot of money? And I used the voice was like it was my television special every week. Every week. I
Yeah.
looked at it like my TV special. And the coaches said as much. I can't wait to come to your show. I feel like I'm at your show. I know, because that's the energy I'm giving you, is that I can't act like an amateur. That's
Oh,
gonna
you
piss
sure
everybody
didn't.
off. I can't act like, oh my God, this my no, I can't live with that. Mm-mm. But I can treat it like it's my television special and do what I do and hope it passed. Well, the goal was not to be saved. The goal was to slay every night. Just
Which you
go for the
did.
jugular every night, no matter what. So then, if I get sent home, it won't be because I do a good job or my best.
Okay, so now here you are, Wendy Moten, and now people know your name. They know your voice. They know who you are. You're singing at the Grand Ole Opry all the time. You're singing with the Time Jumpers every week. I mean, you go out with Vince Gill. You have your career, but the one thing that you still want, tell everybody what it is.
My residency? Is that
No,
it or
you
something
want the
else? What?
song. You want the
Oh,
song, right?
yes. Okay.
You
Well,
need
my
the
residence is where
song.
I can sing my song. I do need the greatest song on earth for a voice like mine. I need someone who who understands the pop elements, but real melody, heart song that a great singer would sing.
Okay, so Eileen Angel, who's a good friend of mine who I told you about, who's a songwriter, just wrote question for Wendy. What
Yes.
do you want to say with your music that you haven't yet?
Well, okay, so that's a trick question because what I learned from Julio was how to perfect other people's songs and make them my own. So I like
Right,
doing covers a lot because I know how I'm an interpreter of songs.
right.
So a lot of the stuff I want to sing, I have said. The thing of it is I just need a melody that moves me, that makes me cry, that I anticipate singing. Whether there is, it's just got to be a great song. I don't have an answer for that, other
Okay.
than some
That's
great
an
song to
answer.
make you okay. I
That's an
want to make
answer.
people weep or make people feel something. When they hear it, it makes them cry just a little. That song "He Stopped Loving Her Today." When you hear a song like that, it plays a reef on the. He talks about a love lost and it's lost forever, and just songs that tell beautiful stories. I don't know. I just want to
Something that's going to
feel them.
move people to their core.
Yes.
David said she needs a hit. No shit. She
And
needs a hit. That's what she needs. That's what you deserve.
yes, I
And
want
I
it, and
have
I haven't
no
had it.
doubt. Well, that's the next piece. That's the next part of this journey
Yes,
is that
thank you.
song.
Yes,
That
I need it.
song.
But I said my residency because I still want that here in Nashville so I can sing my song every night or whenever my
Where do
residency.
where do you want your residency to be?
I don't know. There's a couple of places. I just got
Okay.
to get a couple of ducks in a row first and get a real plan. And again, get my music,
Yeah.
get the song.
You need the song.
I need the song.
You
I
need the
need that
song.
song that is a great song for my show that is a signature song. A signature song that's inclusive of all people that, you know, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's a signature song. That's a song everybody can understand. All languages, all, it's just everybody can understand the message in that song.
You're gonna get it.
I want it.
You've had every piece of this puzzle fall into place at the right time. This is the right time for you.
Yes,
I feel it. This
I
is
do
the
too.
right time.
I do too. I'm very if I hadn't have gone through the process of The Voice or recorded my country record with Vince Gill, that started it. When he said, I want to produce you, I want to produce a record on you, and he put me in there with those heavy hitters, and he chose the songs the day of the session. I was
Wow,
terrified.
really?
Yes, the day of the session with these heavy hitters. I said, I am not going to be
What
afraid
heavy
of that.
hitters were you in with?
Paul Franklin, the
Hmm.
top uh, guy of pedal steel in the history of pedal steel. Willie Weeks,
Oh yeah.
because David was on tour, so he couldn't do it. Um, John Jarvis,
Hmm.
amazing. All these guys are like top tier dudes. And he put that together and then he was like, okay, so let's do each season. I never even heard what each season, what is that? But he told me, I'm glad you don't know these songs because then you can truly make them your own.
Wow.
And
Good
that's what I did.
plan.
And that started my thinking like an artist again. And so that was 2019. The record came out in 2020. So I wouldn't have done The Voice if I hadn't figured out who I am anymore, or was, or had I not gone through that process and trusted my instincts.
You know, a lot, I know a lot of musicians. A lot of
Yes,
musicians are going
you
to
know
listen to
everybody.
this. A lot of songwriters are going to listen to this. Eileen's listening to this. Somebody's going to write that song.
I need the
Somebody's,
"What the World Needs Now Is Love, Sweet Love" song. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. The words, the messaging, it crosses all everything's.
that's a perfect answer to that question. Wendy, I love you so
I love you
much. And
too.
and I feel like I've been in the room with you and David, you too. Happy birthday, David. I can't, these guys, I can't wait for you to come out and spend time with me and Snuff because we're going to have you in our home. We don't let anybody, nobody stays in our home. Nobody. But we said, David and Wendy, we could have here. We could have
Well,
with.
in the new year, we're definitely going to do it.
I
There's no
can't
reason
wait.
not to. We want to. All we're going to do is laugh the whole time
That's all we're going to do. And eat. We're going to
and
eat.
eat. Oh my gosh. These are little people and they eat a lot.
Oh,
Little.
bullshit, little Peter.
You
I
went
don't want.
to so many restaurants. She had big plates of food, and she's this big guy.
Yeah, bullshit.
No, you are.
No, I have to lose 15 pounds.
I
Ah!
gotta lose like 40. Okay,
Oh,
30.
listen, I could not love you more.
I love you too.
I know this is I know this is going to come to you, and I'm so excited
Thank
that
you.
I'm going to get to watch it happen.
Thank you. Love you so much. And thank you for having me.
Go give David the biggest birthday kiss. Have a
I
wonderful
am.
night, you guys. I love
Okay.
you so much.
Love you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Wendy.
Okay.